With the new Elden Ring DLC, there's 8 new weapon classes, one of those classes being hand-to-hand. I knew that these were a weapon, but I just never used them, and I heard nobody talking about them, so I just didn't think anything about them, and I didn't know if they were good or not. But I wanted to see exactly how good I could make these things from a new game. But I wanted to see exactly how good these things are, and to see if they're at all viable. To beat this whole game with these things on a fresh shave, obviously it's impossible, since these weapons are in the DLC, but there's actually this little known glitch called if you stand right here, exactly, look right here, and then open up this thing called cheat engine and spawn it in, you can get the weapon for free. Actually pretty cool. The good thing with these weapons is that I can actually wield them at the very start, since the stats are so low and I don't need to farm or do anything like that. Yeah, I was gonna fight Grafted Scion, but I'm ass, apparently. In Limgrave, we have some shopping to do, so let's get down the list. I grab a whetstone knife that I'll talk more about later, and while we're here, it just makes sense to go get the Dectus now rather than later. And we pay a good old visit to our friend Alexander to commit murder just for some extra damage. Even though I only have one talisman pouch, I want to get all of the talismans that I think will be good. So, the blue dancer charm made sense to me since the weight of the weapon is literally 1. And then I could be at the lightest equip load, making the blue dancer charm give the max amount of damage bonus. In Limgrave, we can get enough smithing stones to get to a +5, which is way more than enough for Margit and Godfrey. We can head to this guy here to kill him for the Golden Vow Ash of War, which is a nice damage boost. With all those items grabbed, I think it's time to kill Margit. And as you can see, that damage is not bad at all. It's just really slow. I did find out that you can't get knocked out of the Ash of War though. So with that information, I had 2 strategies. For now, I'm going to go with the idea of just spamming R2s, hopefully posture breaking, and getting pretty good damage in. With the damage being good, I'm just terrible at the game sometimes, so I died to him like 5 times, but he does go down. I didn't do much research for this run, so I had the idea to put Keen on my weapon to make it more physical damage, but once I got the iron knife, I realized you can't put affinities on this weapon. It's all good though, because Godric is easier than Margit, to be honest. Godric has so many moves that leave him open and long enough to get my Ash of War off, and after a few punches, Godric goes down with no challenge. With all those runes from Godric and his remembrance, I can put all those levels into Dex for that nice damage boost. For the first time ever, I didn't kill Gostok, so I forgot he just shows up here now. But now that I've killed Godric, I can get his Great Rune, which is the only Great Rune I have ever used, because it's the best one. We've unlocked Liurnia now, so I can grab the Glintstone key and then make my way over to the Crystal Tunnel for a lot of upgrade materials and a ball bearing. Since I do so much physical damage and posture damage, the Crystallion just becomes a punching bag. I mean, holy shit, look at that damage. And then she just becomes a victim to my R1 spam. For my efforts of going in that tunnel, I get myself a +9 weapon for Renala. It doesn't really matter what level your weapon is when you get tickled in a corner by the guys with a bunch of arms. If you have a +9 weapon for Red Wolf, it'll obliterate him no matter the weapon. So yeah, it's pretty easy, and we do it first try. But maybe Renala's gonna be harder. I mean, Red Wolf doesn't have that much health, so yeah, that's a lot of damage. Not quite a 1 cycle, but that was more of a stamina problem more than a weapon problem. Phase 2 Renala is really annoying to me, but if you can spam moves to sunlock her so she can't move, and not to mention the damage on that Ash of War is absolutely insane. When you kill Renala, you can talk to the old lady to get the next talisman pouch, and this is huge for me. That's where most of my damage is honestly coming from. We can get new talismans in Caleb. First off the list, since his weapons do pretty good poise damage, I want the Stone Barb Cracked here. This just makes it to where I can break their posture multiple times during one fight. And since I'm already here, pretty close, I can get the Dectus to go to the capital. To make our Ash of War even stronger, we can kill the fake Godric to get the Godfrey icon, making our Ash of Wars do even more damage. There's one final thing I want to grab right before fighting Radahn, and that's Flame Grant Me Strength. With combination of Golden Vow, we can do a truckload of damage. Well, the damage here doesn't look great, but Radahn has a lot of health, and he's not that hard. I think this is where I found out the R1s on this thing are just bad. Half the time it misses, and it's just not even worth it. It's just more proficient to go for charge R2s. So that's pretty much what I did. Just spam charge R2s and get the Ash of War off whenever I can. I didn't really have any trouble on this boss, but I still haven't really gotten used to the moveset either. The next area I want to go to get some items is Lane Dale. So to do that we have to kill DTS. When I started this run, this was one of the bosses I was least worried about. With a weapon this fast, DTS is kind of a joke. And definitely those staggers are helping me get tons of free damage. Sometimes at this point, I would just do jump attacks. But if I was just doing charge R2s instead, I would have gotten more staggers and even more damage, making it way easier. After I make quick work of DTS, I go straight to Godfrey for that 4th talisman slot. On Godfrey, I did want to do a jump attack build since jumping is really good against him, and definitely worked out pretty damn good, and I beat him on my first try. My damage was pretty good, so I wasn't gonna use Margit's Shackle, but fuck it. Most of the time, you kill him so fast that you just skip phase 2. For some reason, his health is just not adjusted as the other bosses in this game. But since I have no status effect like Bleed or Frost for example, I can't just delete him like in a normal playthrough. But even without the status effects, my weapon is still doing really good damage. On the final winning take, somehow I didn't notice I was one-handing the entire fight pretty much. But I still killed him, so it's just how good I am. Through all of my exploration, I can get enough materials to get my weapon to plus 20 for Fire Giant. This fight sucks in every run, and it's not much different here. It's kinda hard to hit a guy barrel rolling through the entire arena. So, I just stick to his legs instead of hitting his hands. It's just more consistent to hit, and I was super surprised to see that my Ash of War one hit his foot. So it was definitely doing good posture damage and overall damage in general. But it still takes forever just because of how much health he has. It didn't take me that many tries to kill him, just overall Fire Giant things that make him annoying. For our reward, we get to watch a woman burn alive, and then we get to go to Tornado Land. That means we have to fight the worst boss in the game. I was gonna do this fight with no sleep pots, but yeah, nah, it ain't gonna happen. I only had 3 pots, but it turned out to be enough, because I got both of them with 1 sleep pot. With them sleeping, it only takes 2 Ash of Wars to stun, and then 1 more to fully kill the Apostle. The Noble has way more health, but it still only takes 2 Ash of Wars to stun him. And then he'll go into second phase, where he gets stuck, and I just kill him. And since it's 1 at a time now, it makes the fight way easier, and not super gang bang annoying. Pretty much once our weapons max level, our build's complete. There's nothing really for us to get. I don't know if this is true for everybody, but Malekith in his first phase is harder than his second phase. The first phase of this fight is kind of annoying with these weapons because it has the range of like a toddler. Like I'm clearly hitting him there, but okay game, you got that. Like I said, second phase is easy. Just wait for that same move that leaves him open for those charge R2s and you just win. It's the same thing for Morgott. Malekith just has a weird health bar that doesn't really fit in with the rest of the game, and that makes him just kinda easy. The last boss of this area is the X3-headed dragon himself. Once you go back in time or whatever, you have plenty of time and area to buff up all your weapons or drink your flask or whatever you want to do, and then you just run at him and he'll do the same lightning attack every time at the start. So during these lightning attacks, he's just sitting there wide open. I can get a bunch of charge R2s, Ash of Wars on him. I can get enough Ash of Wars off in this time, so he's basically near stun. From all that damage that we would do there, with the stun and the beginning combined, we basically get him to phase 2, where he just teleports all over the map, wasting everyone's goddamn time. But the second phase is pretty much the same as his first, just takes twice as long. Before I wanted to kill Godfrey, I just remembered that I forgot to kill Niall for the secret medallion. Even though I'm not gonna kill Malenia now, I just like to be prepared. With all the buffs I have, I can one-shot the summons he spawns in 1 hit. Niall has like 3 moves total, so I just baited out that jump, dodge, and get my charge R2s off. I actually only broke his stance once though, surprisingly. I don't know if that's because he has a high poise meter, or just the fact that he's a pro at stalling and his poise goes down too fast for me to stance break him. The fake Godfrey's up next, and you know damn well I went for that Claw Talisman. Mixing jumping R2s with fully charged Ash of War means you're breaking stance and doing huge damage at the same time. If I didn't suck balls at this game, I would have insta-killed him in the second phase, but I was just incapable of pressing circle. I would say this is where I noticed that I'm running out of stamina every 2.3 seconds. It's just because I'm spam jumping in R2s and Ash of Wars don't let me heal my stamina, so that sucks. But I didn't really want to get the Turtle Talisman because I'm lazy as shit. Radagon is a boss that's weak to strike damage, the damage that we do, so it's huge damage against him. This is also where I'm seeing the weakness of these damn things. Mainly, it's the moveset. Both the R1s and R2s lock you in a long multi-hit combo. Most weapons with these attacks like that are often not very good. And I've already mentioned it already, but the range is just so bad. I know it's your fist, but damn, I miss so many hits on bosses. Elden Beast is a way nicer fight if you have range. But yeah, I don't have much of that. So I just kind of run in his nuts and spam R2. Now, as you can see, the damage is definitely good, but not mind-blowing or anything. And still to this day, I'm really trying to figure out if it's better to do Ash of Wars or R2s. But I just think it's boss dependent. On my pal Elden Beast here, I just do R2s. And yeah, 4,000 damage is a lot. I think doing charge R2s is better than doing multiple palm strikes, since it just takes absolutely forever to charge that thing up. We're almost done. Normally I would do Radagon last, but I like to save the hardest ones for last. So let's get Moog over with. This fight is always a joke. I rarely ever see his phase 2 because people kill him so fast, especially with Moog Shackle to get that huge damage. After a few deaths, I was struggling because I actually had to fight his phase 2, so I got the Purifying Crystal tier so I don't stagger or take damage when he does his second phase transition. To start off, I run in and use Moog Shackle and get all those Ash of War hits off, getting him right into a second phase, and all that posture damage has his stance broken not long after that. And even with status effects, Moog's second phase is pretty much non-existent. I'm not even going to talk about Loretta. I walked in and she instantly died. There was just nothing to even do there. But Melania, on the other hand, now she is not a problem either. I could just stunlock her infinitely, pretty much. Now it's not nearly as punishing to just throw out some attacks, because most likely she's just going to get stunlocked. And then you can get extra R2s. We get a few more poise breaks every fight. Not often can I get an Ash of War off, but I can get 2 free ones after she does her second phase transition. And this takes off like 25% of her HP. And second phase isn't much different from the first, besides that I'm being blinded by her wings the whole time, but that's another story. I really wasn't expecting that these weapons to do anything, especially against Melania. I didn't think they would be nearly as good. Just as I was finishing the script, I realized I didn't kill Rykard. So I had to load up my game and make my way to the virgin below Raya Lucaria. And that means you just go straight to Godskin Noble. Obviously, I'm level like 120, so I'm a little over leveled here. So we do a lot of fucking damage. It's not like Noble is even hard, because he never is. But I just knew that Rykard was going to be a pain. For the first few attempts, I was just going in there, spamming Palm Blast. And it would work, since for one we stance break him like 10 times, and the damage is pretty decent. Rykard has the most health in the game, and it's like punching a wall for 10 minutes straight. Now I know damn well whoever designed Rykard Phase 2 never thought about people doing it without the weapon, because this is one of the worst experiences of my life. For anyone wondering why I have this armor on, by the way, this is the Knight Armor from the Twin Maidens, and it has the exact amount of poise needed to not get staggered constantly by Rykard Lava. And now with this armor, you can actually get hits in instead of just being constantly stun-locked. After about 25 deaths or so, I had to change my build up. I removed my Axe Talisman for the Blue Dew Talisman. Now, I slowly regain FP, and I mean slowly. I thought this would fix the problem of me needing Blue Flask, but it recharges so slowly, it just wasn't quite enough. I had an idea to use the Blessed Dew Talisman so that I don't take lava damage. But yeah, it heals 2 HP a second, less than the Rykard Fire. But it did definitely help though. I could notice a difference even if it wasn't that much, because it caused me to kill him after like 2 hours. And just like that, base game is done. And I beat the game with only Dryleaf arts. I think that these weapons aren't that good. It's really just the Ash of War that's good. The moveset isn't all that great and the range is terrible. I would put these bad boys into like I think low B tier.